Well, thank you so much for joining me on Uctv as we break down some of the stories that made headlines through the week. My name is Nora Sende. Now, Uganda is set for its population census, and there is so much that we need to dig into. Get into the nitty-gritties of what this population census is all about. What do we need to know? What do we need to do? What should we avoid? And with me in studio, we are so lucky to have the Public Relations Officer of the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, who is Didakas Okoth, who is going to give us details about the population census. You're very welcome, Didakas.
Thank you, Nora.
Yes. So you can just briefly introduce yourself and just start off with what is this census all about?
Thank you, Nora. Once again, viewers, my name is Didakas Okoth, Senior Public Relations Officer, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. And I'm glad that this is a very important exercise for our country, for our nation, and for the people of Uganda. First of all, a census is a mass undertaking that involves counting of the population, including understanding their demographic characteristics and housing conditions, of how they live, where they live, how many we are, the kind of access they access, and the distance they cover to access those services. These are very important questions that we should always ask ourselves. And of course, this is going to be the 11th national population and housing census, but of course the 6th post-independence census that Uganda is going to be undertaking. I just want to brief the viewers that Uganda Bureau of Statistics is a semi-autonomous body responsible for collecting of statistical information and disseminating these statistics, which of course informs government planning, policy formulation, and evidence-based decision making. But of course, for today, we are going to be talking basically about the census, which is now the main activity that the government is focused on undertaking. And we want to thank the government of Uganda for providing funding for this exercise. The government provided over 320 billion shillings to undertake the National Population and Housing Census 2024. These resources is going to be utilized, of course, to do several activities, including purchase and procuring of digital materials. These are the tablets. And of course, the country has always been told that we are undertaking the digital census. It's no longer going to be the paper questionnaire as we used to think. This time round, we are doing the digital census. And of course, the digital census, we are likely, first of all, to have the results in time, but also the quality of statistics is more guaranteed. The fact that we are not going to have to transfer information from the paper to the computer. The other resource is going to be used, of course, for the manpower. Uganda Bureau of Statistics is recruiting over 120,000 field staff. All these people are going to be paid, and they'll be paid through their mobile money systems. So the last beneficiary will receive their money directly into their phones. And this is, of course, to avoid any other thing that can happen in between there. Part of the resources, of course, is used for planning activities. The meetings, we have various committees that were put in place. We have the National Census Council, which is chaired by the Prime Minister. And of course, it has a number of ministers who sit in that council, including the Executive Director and the Census Commissioner of the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, the Board Chair, the Minister of ICT, Minister of Defense, Minister of Health, Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Education, among other ministries that sit in that council. We have the Census Advisory, Technical and Advisory Committee, which is chaired by the Permanent Secretary and Secretary of the Treasury, Minister of Finance. And of course, this also has got a number of members who attend that meeting, and they are part of that committee. They come from Electoral Commission and other government agencies. We have the Census Management Committee, which is, of course, which sits in Uganda Bureau of Statistics, and also it has its own chair. So overall, the resources available is also supposed to be used to inform the public, to publicize census and make the program understood and appreciated by every part of the population. So this is all about the census and the budgeting. Now, in terms of implementation, of course, we are already at advanced stages, of course, with the exercise. As you may be aware, we already had the training of the national level people. These are the supervisors, and of course, training of trainers. We had this in Monyonyo. That was from 4th to 12th of April. And of course, they were commissioned by a representative of the Ministry of Finance, Planning. And of course, we have, in the past weeks, we have been training people at the district level, whom we expect to train the people at the sub-county level. At the sub-county level, training is going to start tomorrow. Is going to start on 1st of May. And this will include training of sub-county supervisors, the parish supervisors, and the enumerators, the foot soldiers, people who are going to be collecting data right on the ground. Right. So, there are technical issues that I would like to share with the viewers, and these are things like the census night, the census public holiday. These are very critical information that is very important that our viewers and the general population come to appreciate, so that they really understand how they should respond to during the census exercise.
Right. Didakas, before we go into that, I've seen government has put in a lot of resources when it comes to the census, yes, including training, manpower, and then you say 320 billion shillings. That is a lot of resources that have been actually geared towards the population census. Why is this very important to us?
First of all, we must appreciate that this amount of investment, of course, speaks to the importance that is given to this exercise. Right. I can assure you that if we do not have quality statistics, it's like you driving a car without fuel or without petrol. In essence, you may not move far because you do not know where you're going, neither can you understand even where you're coming from, because you'll be stagnant. But the statistics gives you an impression, it gives like a mirror, that you're able to appreciate where you're coming from, appreciate the achievements for the past 10 years, and also focus and say, if this is how our population is, if the distance covered by primary children in a particular sub-county is 10 kilometers, then what should the government do? That means that the government should ensure that can bring services closer to the people by providing primary school at a distance of maybe 2 kilometers. Right. Secondary school, the same with health services, the same with safe water. If someone is accessing a borehole in a distance of 2 kilometers, then the government can start to think otherwise and say that, you know, our people in this particular area are traveling a long distance to access safe water for drinking, and therefore it is very important that we can extend the water services closer to them. If there are no toilet facilities, pit latrines in certain places, which I will not mention, but of course we shall wait for the census result to give us these indicators, then the government can start to campaign, can start to run a campaign through the Ministry of Health that we need toilet facilities. That's why the government saw it very important that it must invest in the census activities and ensure that we can have timely statistics, current statistics, statistics which is quality, statistics which speaks to the occasion, to enable the government to plan better, to enable the development partners to think on how to approach certain issues. For example, in the questionnaire, we have a question which speaks to the refugees. Uganda has been put on the map as one of those countries that are hosting a big number of refugees. And therefore, we are working with the Office of the Prime Minister through the Department of Refugees to ensure that we have very clear information about the refugee areas in this country. These are areas that in the questionnaire we are treating as special areas.
Right.
What are some of the special areas? Let me just speak about it briefly. We have the refugee settlements, we have the Greater Kampala, that is Mukono, Wakiso, and Kampala itself. We have the UPDF, we have the Uganda Police Force, we have Uganda Prison Services. These are areas, these are institutions that we are treating them as special areas.
If I may ask, why are they special areas?
They are special in a sense that, for example, these are security installations. They have security installations. You cannot just easily access them.
Right.
For example, in Kampala, why is it a special area? Because it has a number of night traders. It has a number of floating population. I'll speak about it under floating population questionnaire. It has a number of businesses which are day, night. It has people who come to Kampala during the day, but at night they go back where? To Wakiso, Mukono. So it is a special area in a sense.
Right.
You get it?
Right.
A refugee area, it is a special area. Initially, 10 years, 20 years ago, hearing of refugees in Uganda was not as so common as we speak about it today.
Surely.
So therefore, the refugee areas, those are special areas, and we treat them as special areas.
So with the population census that's coming up, I'm getting an indication that there will be different questionnaires depending on the different categories of people that, or the areas that are, the census is being carried out. Is that so?
That is very true. We have a number of questionnaires. We have what we call the household questionnaire. The household questionnaire is going to speak directly to individual households. They come to your household, they ask for the head of the household name, and then any responsible person who shall be found within that household, and then we shall ask you several questions. The number of children, the number of people who spent the night on the census night. We shall be asking you questions on the level of education, economic activities that the household is involved in, and so on and so forth. That is household questionnaire.
Right.
Then we have community questionnaire. These are questions that will be asked by the leaders in the area. Do you have safe drinking water? Do you have a health center? Do you have access roads? Do you have markets? Do you have a financial services within your area? These are community questionnaires. Then you have institutional questionnaires. Those are questions which are going to be speaking to the institutions I already talked about. The security institutions, the hotels, the restaurants, with the bars, because we shall be having questions, we shall be having people, even interviewing people in the hotels. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. So those are the institutional questionnaire. Then we have the floating population. These are now people who will be found at the border points, at the airport. They are traveling. But we shall ask them, where did you spend the night of 9th May 2024? Because it is a reference night. Okay,
that is very interesting, because to me now, I find that the night of the 9th May 2024 is a very important night in regards to the census. What I'm trying to understand is what implication does that have to the population census? Why the night, by the way? Expound a little more of that. And not just the 10th, but the night of the 9th of May 2024 is exactly what is being highlighted here.
First of all, by international standards, before you carry out a census, you must gazette a night. This night is gazetted by the cabinet. And the cabinet gazetted the night of 9th May 2024 as the reference night for the census 2024. Because all questions that will relate to the census of this year will refer to that night. One, first of all, it will support the issue of double counting. If we found you at Old Tax Park, you are traveling, we shall not ask you, we shall not count you as someone who who slept in Kampala. But we shall ask you, where did you spend the night of 9th? And by the way, even if the enumerator came to your household on the last day of enumeration, which will be 19th, same question will be asked, how many people spent the night in this household? You will tell them, okay? Similarly, even when you are found in a hotel on the 18th, on the 19th of May 2024, we shall still ask you, where did you spend the night of 9th May 2024? Because it is a reference night. Yes, and that's how and why that night is very, very important to us. Somebody called me when I was driving to this place and asked me, what shall we do for us who are organizing conferences? And we shall not be sleeping in our homes on the 9th.
Yes.
I told the person, inform your delegates that the question will be asked where they will have spent their night on the 9th. And that is the reference night. And that's where the point that we shall take. Yes. Very
interesting and very, very...
And of course, the other thing that I just want to put it clearly to the audience is that people think because we're speaking of the 9th as a reference night,
yes,
we're going to be counting people during night. No. We are going to be counting people during day. And the exercise will kickstart on the 10th, which will be a census public holiday. This public holiday was given by the cabinet, and the exercise will start on 10th until the 19th of May 2024. All activities of counting people will be done during day.
All activities.
There is no one who should come to your household at night and claim that he's a field staff, he's a census staff, and therefore would like to count you. No. No.
So what does how are we as the public supposed to interact with the enumerators that come in regards to making sure that these are exactly the enumerators that are from UBOS?
All our enumerators, field supervisors are going to be identified using an identification card.
Okay.
An identification card will bear the enumerator's name or the supervisor's name. It will have a QR code, which in case you cast a doubt on an individual, you can simply scan it, and it will automatically take you to our website, the Uganda Bureau of Statistics website, www.ubos.org. And that is the authenticity and how you can verify that this person is a genuine staff of UBOS.
Right.
And is a census field staff. Yes. So everyone will be bearing a name tag.
Well, that's nice.
Yes.
Apparently, tell us, what is going on? What are some of the activities that you are conducting right now?
Right now, we have over 147 staff from Uganda Bureau of Statistics who have been deployed in different cities, municipalities, and districts. And they are providing technical guidance to all our other members in the field, especially as far as training is concerned. I just told you in the beginning that we concluded training at the district level.
Right.
From 1st of May, for the next 1 week, we are going to be training sub-county supervisors, field enumerators at the sub-county level, at the division level, at the division level, for the cases where we have divisions. Then, of course, the sub-counties. So we are going to be training them, and we're going to empower them with knowledge and skills, first of all, to understand and appreciate the questionnaire, also to understand and appreciate the different questions in those questionnaires, and also the use of the digital system, the tablet, which already has preloaded information. I already told you that we're not going to be using the paper questionnaire. We're going to be using the devices, the tablets.
Right.
So the questions are already preloaded, and everything is going to be transferred to the data center using the digital technology.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. I think that takes us to exactly, you have been carrying out this census for quite some time as the government, and I believe you have encountered multiple challenges. What are some of the challenges you anticipate this very time?
It is very true. we have always held censuses. I talked about the sixth post-independence census. And one of the biggest challenges has been, of course, certain myths, beliefs that, you count my child will die. These are superstitions,
right?
Of course. And of course, I would like to encourage our leaders, the politicians, the cultural institutions, the religious leaders, to support this exercise and preach the right gospel about census. Census started even before the time of Jesus. We had a census. You remember even when Jesus was born, we had a census that everyone was commanded to go back to their hometowns and be what? And be counted.
Right.
So this is not a new thing. It has been there since the olden times. So it is very important. In fact, when you are counted, then the government gets to know where you are, and also your characteristics economically, socially, and even the kind of housing structure in which you live. So these are very important information that we must put ourselves there and ensure that we stay home, especially on the starting day of census enumeration, which is 10th, and ensure that we support the smooth process of especially starting the counting process. Because when we find you home, it makes the work of the field staff easier. When we don't find you home, the field staff may be forced to come back to ensure that every household is enumerated. Yes.
Now that we are encouraging people to actually be counted, to count this census important, what appeal do you have to people out there who think actually they think this is not as important to them as other things?
First of all, I want to tell the viewers that a census count is an important undertaking for everyone. We all need statistics, even in our homes. If you have 3 children, then you know the number of your children and you know how much kilo of meat you should buy for them.
Exactly.
If you have 10 of them, you know that they will eat 4 kilos of meat, then you can't buy 10. Or you can't buy 1 kilo, others will miss. So if we miss out in this counting, it means we are going to affect a lot of planning for the next 10 years. Remember, the census is undertaken after every 10 years. And because of the various statistical information and data that census provides, it becomes very important that we all participate. We all avail ourselves. We are all counted. We are all included in the number, in the figures, in the census results. This will support planning not only for the government, not only for the development partners, but also even for the lower levels of the local government. Even at LC1 area, this information is very important. You need to know the number of households you have in your LC1 area. You need to know the number of people in your village. So that if there is any government program and they're saying, can you please share with us the numbers, you have the figures. Because you're area leader, okay? Because you're a government person, and this is your area of responsibility, you have the information. And therefore, this is very critical that we're all part of it. And I want to appeal to every Ugandan, to every political denomination. Census is not political. Census is a neutral information that we all need. And therefore, we must all be part of it. We are going to publish information even on culture, clan, and religious information. All this is very critical. And that's why all of us must be part of the census.
Very critical indeed, and I believe all of us should be a part of the census for sure. One last question before we set off is that, is there any provision for those who could have missed the census and probably the night that the census, that the person is out of the country and then he comes back immediately after the census is done? Do we have any provision for that kind of thing?
Of course, I already spoke about the reference night. For as long as you will have slept within the boundaries of Uganda, on 9th, you will be included in the census numbers. If you are out, we have questions which we shall be asking households. If you have any relative who lives abroad, Okay? Those questions will come. And then someone will tell us, yes, I have someone in Dubai, I have someone where. They will be captured. Yes.
It will be captured.
Yes, but in terms of those within Uganda, the reference night is the basis.
Well said, and thank you so much, Didas, for making time to just come and highlight a few more details about the population census. I believe it has really given us a very good eye-opening, and I believe all of us need to be counted. It helps you and I, it helps the government, it helps local leaders, it helps so much more in planning and just making sure that the government plans for you well. And therefore, we urge everyone to support the population census. Any myths that comes with the population census, please do not believe those, and make sure that the people who come to enumerate you are the right people from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics. I am Nora Sende.
The National Population and Housing Census 2024 is here. Uganda is to conduct the Census 2024 this May to update our population status that will support government to plan for every citizen. The enumeration team is in the field to respond to all the necessary interests by you and me as they register all of us. Note that the Census night is 9th May 2024. Let us all be part of this exercise by working with the enumerators, provide correct data and information. This exercise is to assist the government in planning government resources properly, provide efficient service delivery, and the formulation of national policies. The enumeration will start on the 10th to 19th, 2024, and the counting will be done at our homes or places of residence. The Census 2024, it matters to be counted. This message is brought to you by Dr. Chris Mukiza, the Executive Director, Uganda Bureau of Statistics, and the Government of Uganda.
We are going to talk about marriages. Marriages is something that is very, very important in our lives, in our society. Each and every one of us is from a family. It's the families that makes our communities and our societies strong. In order to make our societies and our communities strong, we need strong marriages. And that is something that we need to talk about. Well, not just marriages today, but we are going to talk about Christian marriages. And there is a marriage conference that is coming up this very month. Now, with me in studio, I have Paul Bolson, who is going to give us details about what is this all about, why the marriage conference right now, and we can't wait to dig into that. Well, Paul, a very warm welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Nora. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning.
Well, tell us more about yourself before we dig into the marriage conference that you're organizing.
Yeah, so I am a missionary here in Kampala along with my wife. We live in central Kampala, and we work with a number of Christian organizations. And one of those organizations is the Bible Society of Uganda. And it is through the Bible Society of Uganda that we're putting on this marriage conference on the 24th of May, later this month. Maybe I should say that my wife is a medical doctor and a counsellor, and she practices those skills here in Kampala. And for me, I wear two hats, an organisational hat from my previous business career, and also a theology hat. I teach and preach in many churches and in a theological college here in Kampala.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, good to have you. You're just the right person to talk to when it comes to these things to do with Christian marriage. Tell me about this conference. What is it about?
So our aim with this conference is to bring together those in the churches who have positions of responsibility. That, of course, includes the priests, the church ministers, but also those who are responsible for different parts of the church, maybe running a youth group or looking after the married or even the single people. And we're bringing them together in order to, first of all, encourage them to live their own marriages faithfully. if people aren't living faithfully in their marriages, then we can't move forwards. So that is vitally important. And then what we want to do is encourage all these people at the conference to be equipped to go out to their churches, to their communities, and to preach and teach about Christian marriage. Now, Nora, at this stage, maybe I ought to clarify something, because I am from the UK, and my nationality can sometimes cause confusion because of what is going on in the UK regarding marriage. So I want to be very clear to everyone that I believe in Christian marriage, and by Christian marriage, that is the marriage that is taught and expounded in the Bible. And what that means in practice is marriage is between one man and one woman exclusively for life. That is where I stand, and I wouldn't want there to be any confusion caused by my nationality.
Most certainly not. We definitely don't think we want any confusion because of your nationality. You talked about marriage and Christian marriages, and we've seen, not just in Uganda, but we've seen so many marriages nowadays actually having so many trials and tribulations, and marriages, so many marriages at the brink of breakdown, or some have not even, really lasted that long. How do you think this conference is going to help really reignite that spirit of Christian marriages and people modeling the Christian marriages in their lives?
Yeah, well, thank you, Nora. That's a great question. So when it comes to the issues affecting marriage, and particularly those issues that can cause strain in marriage, or marriages to even break up, or even with younger people to put them off getting married in the first place, we need to address these things head on practically. And that is the purpose of the marriage conference. What we want to do is address issues such as good communication in marriage. We have a specialist in this area speaking at the conference, Dr. Eva Setwine. She is CEO of the Institute for Mental Health and Family Care. And she'll be talking about this critical component of marriage, to be able to communicate well between husband and wife. It's when communication breaks down that problems start to arise. And then we've got Justice Mike Chibita. Many of your viewers will know Justice Mike Chibita as the former Director of Public Prosecutions. He's now a judge in the Supreme Court of Uganda, and he'll be talking about the basis of marriage in terms of the law and how the law impacts on marriage itself. I should say that Justice Chibita is the president of the Bible Society of Uganda, and he will be approaching his talk very much from a Bible Christian perspective.
Very lovely. So now that you're talking about some of the personalities and the leaders in our communities and in our circles that are going to grace this occasion, who is the main celebrant of the occasion, the one who is going to actually lead this?
Yeah, so we are very privileged and very honoured to have the Archbishop of Kampala, the Most Reverend Paul. Now you're going to have to help me pronounce his family name.
Yes.
Semoga.
His Grace.
Yeah.
Paul Semoga.
His Grace. And I've met him a couple of times. He is so strong and so supportive of Christian marriage. So we have a wonderful person in the Archbishop coming to open the conference and give the address, the first address at the conference, which will be about the importance of marriage. The importance of marriage, not just for individuals, but for Ugandan society. Because one of the overarching aim of this marriage conference program, and I should add that the Kampala Marriage Conference is one of several. We later this year we're having a marriage conference in Mbarara and another one in Fort Portal. Last year we're in Mbali. So these marriage conferences actually have an overarching aim of making Christian marriage the bedrock of Ugandan society. We believe, and the Bible Society of Uganda believes, that Christian marriage strengthens society. It creates cohesiveness in a society. And that is something that we're looking to establish within Uganda, pushing back against all those pressures and all those sometimes evil forces which cause disruption of marriage. So as a church, and by the church I mean all the churches in Uganda, we want to go on the offensive and push back against these bad forces and promote Christian marriage as a force for good.
As a force for good, indeed, Christian marriages as a force for good is what we look forward to. Speaking about, you talked about the different people that we intend to be there for this Christian marriage, and we can't wait for our own Archbishop, His Grace, Paul Semogerich, to be there. You talked about Justice Mike Chibita. Those are people that we really look up to as in our society as great leaders, and we look forward to that. That also clears out the whole perception of you being from a different nationality, and the cultures of marriages sometimes can tend to be a little bit different. You understand?
Yes.
When it comes culturally.
Absolutely.
And so that gives us like a little more encouragement to be like, okay, it's not just Paul Boston who's going to be there, but people within our own communities, right?
Nora, I'm really glad you've raised this point. My role is chairman of the steering committee.
Right.
I work behind the scenes. So I'm the one that organises the invitations and that sort of thing, in conjunction, of course, with the team at the Bible Society of Uganda. But the speakers, the people who will be addressing the delegates at the conference, they're all Ugandan people. It is so important that we discuss Christian marriage within the culture and the context of Uganda.
Very nice. Within the culture and the context of Uganda. Paul, why is this marriage conference important at this point in time right now?
Another great question, Nora, and thank you for that. It's important because we're at a turning point. If we don't stand up for Christian marriage now, then those forces, those bad forces I talked about a minute ago, will start to become overwhelming. And as churches, the churches in Uganda are strong, but they will be weakened if marriage is weakened. So what we need to do is come together as churches. We're Christian people wanting Christian marriage in this country in order to pave the way for a positive future for not just marriage, but also the churches as well. So this is a critical moment for doing this. We have the resources. If I could just make a comment about my own country.
Yes.
We've left it too late in my own country. And now we have all these issues that many of your viewers will be aware of percolating up. It's because the churches didn't respond at the right time. Today in Uganda, we need to respond now.
We need to respond now, and I can't agree more with you. We need to respond now, and we need to respond quick. My question is, when it comes to marriages, oftentimes we see a little bit of counseling, before the marriages, and after the marriage, the counseling kind of just comes in when there is some bit of trouble, you understand? Yes. And I feel like this is a training, a lifelong training, Families are the most important institution on the face of the earth. That leads me to another question. When it comes to marriages, how are we dealing with the unmarried youths in regard to preparation to them to marriage, because they're the next generation that's going to carry on this institution. And if they do not appreciate it, then who are we entrusting this institution to?
Great question, Dora. Well, you're absolutely right. We need to start with the young people. We need to prepare them when they're children that marriage is the right way forward in terms of the God-given union between a man and a woman. And of course, where children could see that modelled well by their parents, that is very helpful. But there are many children in Uganda, as there are around the world, who unfortunately do not have good role models, a good example of marriage from their parents. And this is where the church comes in. The church needs to embrace these children and train and teach at an early age about what marriage is, why it is important, how to make a success of marriage. And on that note, one of the most exciting things for me at least about the Kampala Marriage Conference is the afternoon session. In the afternoon, we have a panel of 8 people chaired by Justice Chibita. And that panel comprises of church leaders from all the major denominations in Uganda. It comprises of men and women, old and young. And for example, your viewers will probably know of Mrs. Emily Chito Mwaka, who is the head of laity for the Catholic Church here in Kampala Archdiocese. She is sitting on that panel. And the delegates will have 2 hours to ask any question they want about Christian marriage. And that's where we'll learn from each other. And that learning, we want to encourage all the delegates then to take out to their own churches and to prepare the programs, starting with the children, supporting the marrieds. In fact, last Sunday, my wife and I were leading a seminar at our own church for the marriage, those that have been married for 20 years plus. Because problems can occur even after 20 years.
Right.
Marriages can break down even. So we want to address these things in a practical way, a supportive way. And of course, one of those ways is where marrieds have fellowship with one another, to share the issues, to share the concerns that they have, to nip those issues in the bud, as we say, before they become really big problems.
Surely we need to nip those issues before they become very big problem. One of the problems, speaking about problems, one of the problems that we see in our Ugandan society today is that there has been a lot of emancipation of the girl child, and the boy child has been left out. Now, interestingly enough, it's the boy child that in marriages, in families, is the head at the end of the day. A lot will depend on the boy child to have, a stable marriage, to have a faithful marriage, to have a spiritual leader that the family will look up to.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering, do we have in the conference something to do with that, an emphasis on the boy child?
Yeah. Yes, well, I'm sure Dr. Eva Satwine will be addressing this issue directly. The boy child and the girl child, for that matter, very important. And the church plays such an important role, to embrace these children into the church and to teach them well. Now, I have the utmost respect for the Catholic Church, not least because I was educated in a Catholic church. And the quality of education, which is combined with Bible and spiritual teaching, is so powerful. And I just want to encourage all viewers who even have a little bit of interest in possibly coming along to the Kampala Marriage Conference to register and come. You will benefit so much from what will be taught there, the fellowship, the sense of mission that the churches will have together. And that mission, as you rightly say, Nora, needs to extend to the boy child and the girl child.
Very nice. What are some of the activities besides what you've mentioned that we should look forward to when it comes to that conference?
In terms of outside the conference, Nora, or within the conference itself?
Within the conference, or even outside the conference.
Yeah. So I think one of the special things about the conference is Christian marriage is not reserved for one denomination. It's actually an issue and a joy when it is done well, an issue when it goes wrong, for all churches, regardless of denomination. Christian marriage is an institution. It's been given by God to all the churches. It is our responsibility as Christian people in our churches to faithfully not only live out Christian marriage, but also to teach and preach about it. That theme of equipping will be very strong in the marriage conference itself. There'll be, of course, strong fellowship. I mean, the lunch will be provided, break tea will be provided. These are opportunities where people can come together, maybe meeting old friends from the past, and where there can be a real sense of mutual encouragement towards one another. In the past, in previous marriage conferences, we had workshops in the afternoon. We believe the panel will be more interesting because it engages with all the participants, and the participants can ask whatever question they like about Christian marriage, and everyone else can hear the answer. So it'll be a wonderful occasion.
Very wonderful, I think. I can imagine. Before we actually get going, where is it going to take place? A little more detail over how we can register, and a little more detail of the day specifically, how to get there. Yeah.
So the marriage conference itself is taking place at the Hotel Africana, which is in the centre of Kampala. I think many viewers will know the Hotel Africana, but if not, it is right in the centre. It is easy to get to. It has a big car park. It can cater for hundreds of people, and we're expecting hundreds of people to be there. It starts at 8:30 in the morning. It will run through to 5:30 in the afternoon. The teaching and all the participants will gather together for a time of worship at the beginning of the conference. It is important that the whole conference is brought before God and receives his blessing. So it's 24th of May. To register, either contact the Bible Society of Uganda directly or contact me. I will give you my WhatsApp number. A dangerous thing to do in the media, but I'm prepared to take that risk. My WhatsApp number, if you'd like to register and come to the conference, is 0772 091 421. I'll say that again, 0772 091 421. And if you contact me, then I will ensure that you are appropriately registered. I should say there is a fee. I want to be open about this. There is a fee. It's to help cover the costs, the lunch, for example, and the morning break tea. It doesn't cover the cost entirely. The fee is subsidised, and it is 50,000 per person for the day. So please come. I'd encourage you, if you want to be part of this mission, part of this movement of enabling Uganda to have Christian marriage as its bedrock, then please come on the 24th of May to the Hotel Africana. But you must register first. You must register. Otherwise, we will be in all sorts of problems.
Well, thank you so much, Paul. Indeed, indeed, we look forward to the marriage conference. I believe that it has come at the right time, at such a time as this. And this is not just the last one, is it? No, I believe there will be many more.
Yeah.
To come.
This is a program, and it's a program that will last several years.
Right.
We want to reach the whole of Uganda, but we also want to repeat as well. So last year we did a conference in Mbarara. The demand was so big that we're doing another one this year.
Wonderful.
In Mbarara.
Wonderful.
I can imagine that next year we may well be back in Kampala again.
We look forward to it.
But let's see, and let's pray for God's blessing.
We look forward to it. It has been such a pleasure, Paul. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Nora.
And we look forward to the marriage conference and what it brings and how people will be impacted, I believe, in a very positive way to make Christian marriages the bedrock of Uganda.
Thank you, Laura.
It has been nice. Thank you so much for taking time and just spending time with us as we discuss the marriage conference that's coming up in May, the 24th of May, 2024. This very month, we look forward. Please take time and be there. This is a very, very, very important conference. You and I need to be there in this conference. Well, my name is Nora Sende. Thank you so much for staying with me on Uctv. Let's take a quick break. Good evening.
Uctv. Good news for all.
Catch incredible stories of resilience success.
You can manage dirty money.
With a topping of inspiration.
Get interested in people, not interested in yourself.
Inspire, achieve, repeat.
You are watching Uctv, good news for all. For this and more, tune in to Kasese Get Radio 100.5 in Western Region, located at the hill of the Diocese of Kasese. KGR brings you all Catholic programs and an advertising platform in all our radio shows like Good Morning Renzori, Chama Toboka, Ukute, the business show, Propeller, the request show and sports, Evaluation, Bahinga Bakuluka, Late Night Show, and many others. Our other services include Isuzu Tipa, a no car, public address system, live band, Omokekera, an audio recording studio, and outside live broadcast. For more information, call 0773 597 166 or visit our website www.kasesegatradio.com. Kasese Radio, Omusondoria, the voice of truth.
The National Population and Housing Census 2024 is here. Uganda is to conduct the Census 2024 this May to update our population status that will support government to plan for every citizen. The numeration team is in the field to respond to all the necessary interests by you and me as they register all of us. Note that the census night is 9th May 2024. Let us all be part of this exercise by working with the numerators, provide correct data and information. This exercise is to assist the government in planning government resources properly, provide efficient service delivery, and the formulation of national policies. The numeration will start on the 10th to 19th, 2024, and the counting will be done at our homes or places of residence. The Census 2024, it matters to be counted. This message is brought to you by Dr. Chris Mukiza, the Executive Director, Uganda Bureau of Statistics, and the Government of Uganda.
Uctv, good news for all.
My name is Nora Sende as we discuss some of the topics that made headlines through the week. Today, the 5th of May 2024, is the International Midwives Day. Now, it is a very important day. Midwives play a very important role in our lives. We are here because of the midwives. And we can't really take this day for granted. And that's why today in studio we have a special lady right from Nsambia Hospital, and that is Sister Nachmera Rebecca Betty, a senior midwife who is going to dig into the detail of what this day is all about. You're very welcome, Sister. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you so much, Nora. Good evening, our viewers. I'm humbled to be here. I'm Nachmera Betty Rebecca, a senior midwife working in Nsambia Hospital. I work in postnatal ward, Mother Kevin. As midwives, our role, we are happy to see a live baby. Our nurses, our future. What does it mean? When I see a live baby, a crying baby, I'm happy. That's our role. What does it mean? We have to go down from the community to call upon people to always come see midwives when they are pregnant. For healthy births, deliveries should be done in the hospital. It's better because we are the role models. We know what to assess. In case it has become hard, that's when I call in a doctor. But at least I can have a safe delivery.
Very nice.
Out of the experience I have.
Very nice. And you are talking very passionately about your role as a midwife. I can see it was a calling, no doubt. Well, I just want to ask you, what led you to being a midwife? Now that today this is your day, what led you to that?
Thank you so much. This being our day, my calling as a midwife, my mom was a midwife, but she wasn't so qualified like I am today. So she could deliver mothers. She had a clinic. She could deliver mothers, but at one point, she delivered a baby who did not cry. That baby scored badly. So the family came in, people were not happy. So I was so keen. I asked her, Mama, what's wrong? She told me today our baby is not fine. So we referred the baby to the hospital. that thing haunted me a lot. Oh, so my mom is operating here, but it's a small scale. We need a big hospital, which is very, very important. It made me, from that very day, I said I'm going to be a midwife.
Nice.
And I struggled for it, and I did midwifery, which I'm enjoying. I love my call. Zambia has nurtured me. I feel I'm someone in the community.
You are definitely in the right calling, that is no doubt, I can see. And that's a very compelling story there. The theme for this area is our nurses are our future. You know, as a midwife, what does that mean to you on this day that we get to celebrate you?
Thank you so much for that question. Our nurses, our future. It means we are the people who entirely care for the future. When I have a live baby, it helps the world to grow. So what does it mean? We should look around from the community. Pregnant mothers should be cared for, at least from a small scale. In case they don't have money, there are so many different centers where you can seek attention. So with this, good antenatal care helps a mother to have a live baby. But in case you're pregnant and you've not been attended to, you just there because there's some things we do according to every step you go. So when you come in the hospital, we see you accordingly. Like the first month, we assess you're pregnant, we check if you have no infection, we check if you have no malaria, we give you iron supplements, we also do, there's a scan we do like before 20 weeks to assess if our baby is okay. All these help us to progress to a live baby. Yes, so on this day, I'm so much humbled and just encourage my colleagues to do the right thing and the right time.
Nice. What are some of the memorable things about your career that you would point out on this day that actually when you think about it makes your heart skip and you're like, okay, I'm glad I am in this profession?
Thank you so much for that question, Nora. At one time in Zambia, you know, I told you Zambia has nurtured me.
Yes.
I started in Zambia. If I talk of when I started, people will figure out my age. We leave that.
We don't want to go there, right?
Yes. But at one time, it was around in 2000, I delivered, I was on afternoon duty. I delivered over 7 babies.
Wow.
But each baby I could deliver, I could tell you what to mark. We were so busy, we delivered over like 20 babies in the afternoon. So among the babies I delivered, there is a lady who had 3 girls and wanted a boy. So she was delivering the 4th baby. This 4th baby was also a girl. So in the process of delivery, as I just delivered her baby, I told her, congratulations, Mama. We've delivered a female baby, but your baby had some dirt. Are you seeing the face? Look keenly on this face. It has that, don't wipe it, don't clean it, it goes out slowly as we go on. So mark this. The reason why I was telling her to mark that, because it was, baby had vernix, we call it vernix, but some people won't know what it means. Yes. It's that covering of the baby's skin as baby has just come out. So as I delivered this baby, we delivered well, this baby wasn't breathing well. We sucked the baby well, baby became normal. I gave the mother to breastfeed. After breastfeeding, I cleared my ward, I wrote my information, whoever I delivered. So among us, the following day I come, I meet a case saying that there is a lady saying her baby she delivered is not the baby she's having. I said no. All the babies I delivered yesterday, every person I could hail her, whatever I could see on that baby. So when we reached on that mother, I just told them, go and ask that mother that when the Messiah delivered this baby, what did she tell you? God is so good and faithful. The lady said exactly what I said. She told me, baby wo alikebe into ebi chafu. Don't clean it. Bivako with time. Bubabi itoba vernix. So that saved me. That helped me to reassure it was her baby. Because as the baby comes out, you show the mother the face, the sex, then you congratulate her. Immediately as the baby is out. After when the baby is in good condition, you put the baby on the mother's chest. So that day, I can't forget that day. I can't forget whatever happened. It was a busy day, but I ended up being like in a mess. Though at the long run, I did the right thing and at the right time. And the lady also accepted. So she was just being intimidated because she wanted a baby boy.
Oh, yes.
That day I can't forget it.
A very memorable day indeed,
Yes.
and it still sticks with you up to now. The role of midwifery is actually changing with time. We see different changes. We see how things are progressing. In this trade or this sector that you're in, how do you see it evolving into?
Yes, thank you so much. Like, as I did my enrollment, I started with the certificate. We could do certificate midwife, you go in with diploma midwife or registered midwife, you stop there. When you wanted to upgrade, you could just join in nursing to add on like a diploma nursing.
Yes.
But as I speak now, midwives are doing bachelors in midwifery, which I hold one.
Wow.
People are doing masters in midwifery. Like, it's growing so fast. Like in theater, we go for internship, like doctors do. But I'm a midwife, but I go for internship. In theater, I can support a cesarean section. We've really grown, and we appreciate that. And even we are growing more and more and more. I just encourage my colleagues to go in. It's not to start the same, at least to upgrade. It's good, you enjoy.
Yes.
As you flow in, as you continue getting education, it flows well, and when it's your calling, you really enjoy.
Yeah, that is nice.
So midwifery has grown so much. You are now having PhD midwives, which is very good and enticing.
It has grown academically, as you're saying. We are seeing progress when it comes to midwifery. There is a lot of investment in terms of education and skilling. And we generally see even the attitude of midwives nowadays changing, you know, in terms of how they relate to the patient. I can see the passion and the vibrancy that you've come with, and definitely I don't put you in any other profession other than midwifery. But that also comes with a lot of challenges. And at times we forget that midwives are actually humans. What are some of the challenges that you face in your profession in this day, age and era?
Yes, thank you so much. Like, the challenges we get, these mothers come in labor when they have a lot on them. At times, their husbands are not together. Some are separated. Some are divorced. Some are dead. As we reach on this mother, just show her care. This business where they said midwives shout at mothers, please, we don't. We don't shout at these mothers. We love them. So when they come in labor ward, at times they come when they don't have money. Some cannot communicate. Try as much as you can to see that you can communicate to these mothers. So challenges we get at times are communication problems. You can't speak the same language, you can't speak English. At least you try to show the signs. As long as you come and she's knowing, she'll always accept you. As you come to the patient, just introduce yourself. I'm so and so. In case you see she's not able to understand you, you can use Luganda. In case she's not picking Uganda, calm down. You can try sign language. As for me, I've enjoyed my skill because I love difficult patients. You can't fail with me. They say she's a difficult patient, I say I'll go in. I'll try all I can to make you comfortable and to get whatever you want. And our wish is to have a live baby. So when you come, and like there's some, they say they are stubborn, she's rude. To me, I don't hear those words. It's pain. Pain can make you different. So when she's in pain, just calm her down. I'm going to examine you. Listen to her. Just be calm. As long as you're doing the right thing, they will always accept.
Interesting. And that brings me to the question of what skills and abilities do you think are best suited for a midwife? Now you've been in the profession for quite a while, and with your zeal, you can easily look through someone and say, okay, this one has the potential to be a good midwife. What are some of those things you would look at?
Like, these days things have changed. Some have joined the nursing and midwifery thing just because they have money, but for us, the way we entered, it was our call, it was our passion. But like, as we are interviewing, like when we interact, because like at my state, I'm a mentor, I'm a coach, this just attitude. We keep on communicating and talking to these people. They are no bad people. You talk to them, these young ones, so that they can be better than us. Me, it's my wish. When I interact with a student, I want her to be better than me, to do the right thing. So just to show the pose, not to be so rude, not to be so tough, but to be teaching, as long as you're doing the right thing, so that she can also love the calling.
Right.
Yes.
How can midwives help in advocating for better maternal and newborns health care?
Yes, thank you so much for that. With better maternal care, because when we have good maternal care, maternal mortality is reduced. We have to go in the community, health educate our mothers when they're pregnant to come to the hospital. These people of the clinics, we won't say they are bad, but at least they should know some are not skilled. In case they are skilled, someone comes in the clinic, just refer them. There are some risks. Someone has a high blood pressure. You should not stay with that patient in a clinic. Refer that patient to the hospital. Someone is bleeding. You have no blood in the clinic. Refer that patient to the hospital. Somebody has malaria. She's pregnant. You're not going to admit her. Refer her to the hospital, at least for better services. Yes.
Exactly. Better services. And each time someone has an issue when it comes to childbirth and delivery and pregnancy, basically, the best place is a hospital so that they can be well catered for. But that also, besides the patient, I want to go back to you, the midwives, yourselves. You work so hard to make sure that mothers bring newborns into this world when they're well and healthy. And on the other side, we need you to be well and healthy yourself in order to give us the best services. What is your advocacy on this day for the midwives to make sure that midwives are well catered for, they're actually also looked at and not just the other way around?
Yes, no, that's a very, very important question. People now are breaking. People are losing their trust, are losing track. Like also we midwives should have like a retreat. You go somewhere, rest a bit, just for like refreshment, recaps. Like they boost you up. We're also human beings. We come in the labor wards, mothers are making noise, are shouting at you, like the whole day's just noise. So we need to rest, we need leaves, which we at times we get, but we also need something special. Like they could look in, like our bosses, you take someone like for a retreat, 1 week rest. As you're recapping, you're resting off work, just doing free work. And with too much work, people are now breaking down. Some are too quiet, they can't communicate to your colleagues that I'm not fine. So when you're out there, that's the time you can ease, you can chat, and refresh your mind. And depression is a lot these days, mental disorder. So to avoid such issues, we need some breaks.
Oh yes, you do need some
it's
breaks.
Very, very
you do
important.
need these retreats.
Yes,
Midwives are humans, and
Yes.
so we need to give them that consideration, really, given the great work that you are doing. Before we actually leave off, because this is your day, I want you to go have a break or something. But there's something that struck me. What is the advice that you would give an upcoming midwife or someone who wants to join the midwifery trade or profession in this sense?
Thank you so much, Nora. Like, as I'm a senior midwife, I'm calling to my colleagues, the ones in the students who are there, like when they come across you or when they contact you or when you're working with these young ones, we should always teach them, because people say that our midwifery is losing that trend which they used to have. May I say no, we can still make it. We can still be better people. Just a cover of good communication, mentoring them well, coaching, like being free. And it's better. Me, I always tell students when I'm with them, ask me at any time you feel like. Because me work under students, doctors who are studying like juniors. It's a big team. But through good communication, we are helping each other. I can inquire from a gynecologist or a consultant. He can inquire from, it's just good communication skills. That's it. When you love something and when you can talk, don't be too rude. But according to me, like, I can't shout at you. I always have good communications with people. So I encourage. I think people who are passing around, I'm encouraging them. I'm not discouraging that. At least I know I'm encouraging more people to join the field.
No, that's nice.
Yes.
Any last remarks to fellow midwives out there and to the general public on this day of yours?
Yes, thank you so much. Colleagues, happy International Midwives Day. Thanks for the great work. We pray we put in more efforts, more love, more support to our patients. To the young ones, we mentor them. They still need us. They won't survive when we don't have no midwives, but they love the good midwife with skills, with etiquettes, who is skilled, who is going to pass on the right thing. So I'm calling colleagues. There are some who are there like in the clinics. They last went to school a long time. They should have CMEs. These CMEs help us so much. Even if you are like an enrolled midwife, you're useful, but keep updated. Now we have Google. You can just put in anything you inquire. Delivery styles. People prefer different options. For me, I want to deliver when I'm bending, when I'm kneeling. Why? Because on the internet, they're seeing them. So we should be updated. Updated midwives. Skilled when someone asks you something. When you're not aware, at least first Google. Not just utter anything, anyhowly. But thank you so much for hosting me. I wish you all a happy International Women Midwives Day. Stay well.
Thank you so much, Sister Nachimera Rebecca Betty. It has been so nice hosting you and giving us an insight into the lives of midwives and some of their inspiration and challenges. We congratulate you upon this day and we wish you the very best, and we can't thank you enough for the great job that you do.
Thank you so much.
And to you out there, thank you so much for taking time to spend this time with us as we dig into the International Midwives Day. Our nurses are our future, no doubt, and they are very important. My name is Nora Sende. Thank you so much. Have yourselves a great Sunday and a good evening.